McDonald County, Missouri. Plus, a Kansas family asks for better communication following an advancement in a 20-year-old murder cold case. And how a southwest Missouri town felt the impact of losing internet access for almost 2 days.
The 4 states' most watched news starts now.
3 people are dead from a head-on collision in McDonald County, Missouri. This is KOAM News at 10. I'm Dow Quick. Happened shortly after 9:30 last night on US 71 near Brush Creek Road in Pineville. Troopers say 29-year-old Kyler Johnson from Washburn was heading south when he traveled into the northbound lane and struck another vehicle head-on. Johnson, along with both of his passengers, 58-year-old Joseph Lynch from Powell and a 15-year-old from Washburn, all died at the scene. A 17-year-old from Neosho was driving the second vehicle. She was flown to Freeman Hospital in Joplin in serious condition. The Kansas Bureau of Investigation and Great Bend Police Department have announced the discovery of new DNA evidence in the double murder of 79-year-old Mary Drake and 24-year-old Mandy Alexander. The 2 women were found dead at the Dolly Madison Bakery outlet store in Great Bend in September of 2002. Family members expressed anger when the KBI made the announcement, saying officers had called the family this week but did not communicate that there was any advancements in the investigation. Reporter Sean Logging has more.
People don't understand the depth of pain and anger, and it's deeper than probably most know.
Marking 20 years since her sister Mandy Alexander was murdered, Desiree Worth says there is anger and frustration as they still wait for answers and a lack of knowledge about the course of the investigation.
Can you not be incredibly upset? How can you not? So I know they do appreciate law enforcement, but let's get this thing solved.
24-year-old Mandy and 79-year-old Mary Drake were found killed in the Dolly Madison Bakery in Great Bend on September 4th, 2002.
This is a double homicide in Great Bend, Kansas, and it's just gone
Up in the wind?
just quiet? No, that's not right.
The KBI Tuesday says new technology led to finding male DNA in a sample taken from one of the victims. They have not matched it to anyone as of yet.
While useful, it doesn't help answer the question as to who that person is today. But it's promising, and we hope that it will help us in the future.
After these 2 decades, it's not just family and police seeking answers. A documentary filmmaker is looking to share and bring more attention to this case.
There's pain in every single person that was affected by this. And I mean, it's a small community as well. So I mean, the fear is evident as well in talking to people.
Aaron Mull grew up in Great Bend and remembers the impact of these murders on the community. He started working on this documentary 10 months ago.
The goal is just to have, 10 times more people to know about this case this time next year than do right now.
What family, friends, and police say they need the most is for people who saw something to come forward.
To think back on that day, and even though you think you may not have saw something, if you would come in and talk to somebody, they might be able to help you open those eyes.
Police, family, and friends ask anyone with information to reach out to the KBI, providing tips to 1-800-KS-CRIME. There's a $17,000 reward to help solve this case. A Southwest Missouri community has regained internet access after losing it for almost 48 hours. A broken line disrupted service from the only internet provider in Sheldon, Missouri. With the internet down, schools were not able to communicate with parents. Also, people couldn't pay bills online and were unable to use credit and debit card machines or even send emails. As you might imagine, this was a major inconvenience for residents.
From what I understand from a CenturyLink representative, there was a line cut over by South Greenfield, so that affected all of us. We had some water issues here in town, and we have a Facebook page that we use to communicate with the town. Well, if the internet's not working, you can't get the message out to everybody.
During the internet outage, the only form of remote communication available was landline telephones. You remember those? Let's check in with Doug Heddy for a first look at the weather.
Well, it definitely turned out to be a great Wednesday for us today. Plenty of sunshine. Temperatures right about where they should be for this time of the year. 86 was our high start at 64, right where we should be. Record highs 101 set back in 1998. Clear skies across the region. This is what we're going to see as we go through the overnight hours for us tonight. Near 70 right now, 69 Nevada, 68 in Miami, 71 in Neodesha. And as we go through the overnight hours, we're going to drop all the way back into lower 60s by morning. So kind of cool to start the day, but we're going to have plenty of sunshine. So morning planner 74 by 9 up to 82 by noon. High temp right around 88 degrees. In fact, we're going to start to heat things back up a little bit next few days. We're going to check out your Friday night football forecast and talk about weekend rain chances. All coming up here in just a bit.
Then, local bookstore is making sure students have plenty to read this year. Books A Million in Joplin today donated nearly $5,000 to buy books for the Danawag Education Center. Officials say the students are very excited about the new reading opportunities.
So I have the most incredible staff. I probably shouldn't have said that out loud because people will want them. So really incredible staff. They're highly trained, really committed people. They absolutely love working with kids. I wouldn't be able to do it without them.
This is the second year Books A Million has partnered with a local school to donate books. Construction is underway on a brand new fire station in Joplin. Fire station number 7 will be at 6720 East 30th Street and will serve southeastern Joplin. The $4.5 million project is funded through the public safety tax approved by voters in 2006. Officials expect the station to open in August of next year. A local Ford Model T club today kicked off its Southeast Kansas tour. The Hillbilly Tour, as it's called, is hosted by the Heart of the Ozarks chapter of the Model T Ford Club of America. Drivers are cruising all around Pittsburgh today to showcase their classic cars. The Hillbilly Tour ends on September 10th. More than 100 people gathered at the Four Oaks Golf Course in Pittsburgh today to participate in the regional golf competition. That competition was for students and for adults. Unified teams also competed. The teams consisted of students with and without disabilities.
It's giving all of us kids exercise, movement, arm movement, all of it. We really enjoy it, getting out here, getting back to normal. We love doing these Olympics because it's doing a lot for us. It's really great.
The event is part of the Unified Schools program that helps reduce bullying and increase inclusion. Coming up, a report that former President Trump had a document concerning nuclear intelligence in his Florida home. And later, how the hot, dry weather is impacting Kansas farmers. The Justice Department and attorneys for former President Trump have until Friday to submit their proposed candidates for a special master, a third party who will review the documents seized from Mar-a-Lago nearly a month ago. An explosive new report says one document is about nuclear intelligence. Reporter Natalie Brand has more.
A document detailing the nuclear capabilities of a foreign country was reportedly among the materials seized from Mar-a-Lago last month. According to the Washington Post, the document, one of more than 100 marked classified that were taken from former President Trump's home, contains information about a foreign government's nuclear defense readiness. The Post states some documents found were so closely guarded that many senior national security officials did not have access to them.
If that information was at Mar-a-Lago, it puts the sources and methods by which we collected that information at risk, and therefore we could lose that information that is so important to us.
The paper's sources did not identify the foreign government in question. Former acting CIA Director Michael Morrell says it puts America's reputation at risk.
Our allies look at this, and our allies become concerned about whether the U.S. is handling their classified information in a secure way.
Trump's lawyer, Chris Kise, told CBS News that leaks continue with no respect for the probe or his client, nor any regard for the real truth. Meanwhile, Trump's former White House chief strategist Steve Bannon is expected to surrender to authorities on Thursday to face charges in New York State. They are related to a fundraising effort to build a wall along the southern border. Bannon has called the charges phony. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Washington.
Now, Bannon was pardoned by former President Trump in a federal case with the border wall. The Manhattan District Attorney's Office then opened its own probe that was not covered under the pardon. Bannon is also set to be sentenced in October for 2 counts of contempt of Congress for not cooperating with the January 6th investigation. He faces up to a year in prison for each count. Search crews saved a man and woman from drowning in an underground parking lot after Typhoon Hinamor battered South Korea with 90-mile-an-hour winds. Residents of an apartment complex had tried to rescue their cars in heavy downpours when the storm came barreling in. At least 10 people were killed in the most powerful typhoon to hit that country in decades, dumping 3 feet of rain and forcing thousands to evacuate. Popular e-cigarette maker Juul will pay nearly $440 million to dozens of states in a settlement. The announcement comes after a 2-year probe into the company's marketing and sales practices. It found Juul deliberately marketed its products to young people. The current settlement will limit Juul's sales and marketing abilities. Still ahead, we're going to hear from a Kansas farmer on the impact of this summer's hot, dry weather.
And it looks like our temperatures are going to creep up a little bit over the next few days. We'll check that out coming up. Well, definitely turned out to be a nice Wednesday for us today. Temperatures mid-80s to upper 80s across the region. We had plenty of sunshine and we still have clear skies outside in Seneca. It looks pretty good. Clear skies is what we are going to see as we go through the overnight hours tonight. All right, we got some rain on Sunday, but it's been dry the past couple days as high pressure is really built in just to our west. And what this does is it pushes the jet stream all the way up into southern Canada. And so until that breaks down, we're just not going to see a whole bunch of changes. However, we're going to finally get some rain chances in here as we head into the weekend. So here's Friday. Watch cold front, little tropical moisture trying to come together right on top of us. Cold front's going to slide in. So this is Saturday afternoon. We're going to be ahead of the front. That means if you have outdoor activities, it's still going to be hot. But once that front slides through, Saturday night into Sunday morning, behind the front, there's going to be some light showers that should pass through the region. Better chances are going to stay just to our north, and then behind this system, we're actually going to cool down just a little bit. So at least we do have some rain chances in the forecast, and that will cool our temps down just a little bit, even compared to what we've seen over the past couple days. Mid-80s yesterday, of course, again today, much of the same. High temps mainly into the mid-80s. Very comfortable now. We have Liberal at 69, 71. In Anderson, 75. Independence, Miami sitting at 68. Looks good. Clear skies. 7th and range line. Nothing going on across the entire 4-state area. In fact, the entire Central Plains, you have to travel south before you find any rain. Here's the beginnings of that next storm system combining with this little bit of tropical moisture. In fact, right off the coast of Baja, California, we actually have a hurricane, Hurricane K, which is going to ride north right into western parts of Mexico and southern parts of California, which should give them a little bit of rain. We're going to be dry here, at least over the next couple days. We're going to drop back, lower 60s. Here's 6 a.m. As we go through the morning hours, some cumulus clouds start to pop up southwestern Missouri. We're going to warm into lower 80s, and then by afternoon, a notch or two warmer than what we did see today. Here's your day planner. 60 to start, 83 by noon, high temp of 88. We get into the 90s, Parsons, Independence, Chanute into lower 90s for highs. Tomorrow night looks pretty good. Clear skies again. We drop back, low to mid 60s. And then Friday, plenty of sunshine again, some cumulus clouds during the afternoon, but we're going to push 90 as we head into the afternoon. Of course, Friday evening, we have 4-state Friday night. Looks good. You can see all my categories here. But by kickoff, 84 degrees. I think by halftime, about 79. So no worries for any bad weather on Friday night football across the area. All right, 88 for us tomorrow, 90 on Friday, 93 on Saturday, and then cooling back down a little bit with a few showers early Sunday. Look at those overnight lows down into the mid-50s, which is almost a little crisp across
Yes,
the
it
region.
is. And a high of only 80 on Sunday.
I know,
That'll be
not
refreshing.
bad, huh?
You bet. Thanks, Doug. Well, what has been a hot, dry summer across much of Kansas is having a big impact on farmers, as you would imagine. U.S. Drought Monitor reports much of central and western Kansas are still seeing severe to exceptional drought conditions. Reporter Joe Baker talked to a farmer about how desperately they need rain.
For Kansas farmers, it's been a season to forget.
It's disappointing. We had so much high hopes at the start of the year. We got some beneficial rains right there in May and June, and then the spigot just shut off and it just stopped raining.
Michael says he's been farming for nearly 5 decades. He says the current drought is the worst he's seen in 40 years.
It was 81 or 82 was pretty bad. The drought years, when I was born in 54, said 54, 55, and 56 were drought years. I mean, it's probably about the same lines.
Michael says fall crops are in danger. This is Michael's soybean crop. He says it should be waist high, but without the rain, it's been a struggle. He will soon be cutting them for hay.
We're not going to have much of a fall crop to even harvest. There's a lot of beans in my area being cut for feed. Corn has pretty much been chopped or either cut, and it's substantially way below yields.
Here is a Storm Team 12 map of what drought conditions look like across the state. Portions of Kansas fall under the extreme category. A pocket of western Kansas and places like Dodge City and Garden City fall under the exceptional category. And if the drought continues, this is what it could mean for farmers' wheat crops.
It won't germinate or come until after a rain, and if and at what point the rain actually comes and how it comes down. I mean, we'll lay it on top as, just barely cover it, just try to get every advantage we can, but it won't germinate until it gets moisture. Right now, this ground is bone dry.
Still ahead, a sophomore wide receiver makes a big impact early in the season for the Joplin Eagles. And Missouri Southern aims to get the offense going in their first road game against Northeastern State. Jacob Leonard has that and more up next.
The Missouri Southern Lions hit the road this weekend for the first time this season. The Lions traveled to Tahlequah, Oklahoma on Saturday, faced the Northeastern State Riverhawks. And both of these teams are 0-1 heading into the weekend. Last week, Southern fell to Nebraska Kearney 24-7 in their season opener. In that game, they were down just 3, 10-7 with about 10 minutes to go. So the defense kept them in it for a while, but the offense managed just 187 total yards on the night, something they're looking to change in week 2.
One of the biggest things is just taking advantage of the opportunities that we get. I think that's something that we didn't do well last game. We had a couple drops. That's not what we see in practice every day. That's not what the coaches see, and I think they trust us to make those plays, and so they're going to keep coming to us. They run a lot of coverages that we like to throw the ball in. So we're going to see just a mix of everything this week.
The first thing we got to do is we got to do a better job on third downs, and that's in order to sustain drives and maintain the ball, we've got to convert on third downs, and we've got to help ourselves out. The other thing that kind of, stuck in my craw a little bit was the personal fouls and unsportsmanlike. That's not us, that's not our kids, and that's not me. And so we'll get those two things addressed, and we'll be a much better football team this week.
The Joplin Eagles are 2-0 to begin the football season. The Eagles will try to stay hot this week, hitting the road to face Ozark on Friday. In these first 2 games, Joplin a pair of wide receivers who have already become a big-time 1-2 punch in senior Terrence Gibson and sophomore Davin Thomas. Now, Gibson has 129 yards receiving to go along with 2 touchdowns. Thomas, the sophomore, is the team's leading receiver with 196 yards and 4 touchdowns in just 2 games. The point here being, they're going to be a problem for everybody moving forward.
I think it's going to be hard for them playing safeties over the top and stuff because they're going to have to cover one or the other. And especially if we play with me and him side by side, and we run a fade route or something like that, they got to guard one.
On the other side, you got Aiden Sampson, who's another track kid, plus Witt, who's 6'7", 230, and is fast in his own right, to be honest with you. At that size, he's one of our faster kids. Everybody talks about chess pieces, and in football, not everyone's chess pieces are the same, and we're pretty proud of our guys, and a lot of that we feel like has come from the work that they put in the offseason.
The St. Louis Cardinals host the Washington Nationals tonight for Game 3 of their 4-game series. The two teams have split the first 2 games of the series. The Cardinals on a roll entering the night. They've won 8 of their last 10. This was such a wild finish. St. Louis was down 5-1 going to the 9th, but they just scored 5 runs in the bottom of the 9th to win it 6-5. Tommy Edman gets the walk-off double for the Cardinals. The Kansas City Royals are also in action tonight. The Royals try to avoid the 3-game sweep in the finale against the Guardians. Another good one here. The Royals actually just tied this one up 1-1 in the bottom of the 9th. So we have an opportunity for 2 walk-off wins tonight for the Major League Baseball teams in Kansas City. I'm going to check in right now, and I'll have an update after this.
One way or the other, either in 9 innings or extra innings,
for sure.
Someone's going to win it in the last at bats. We'll be right back. Take time now to honor a local veteran. Charles Pitt served in the U.S. Army in 1968 and 69. Pitt was stationed in Thailand. He has roots in Independence, Missouri, and Corona, Kansas, and we are proud to salute Sergeant First Class Charles Pitt, a 4-state hero. NASA's James Webb Space Telescope captured the image of a large Magellanic Cloud galaxy nicknamed the Tarantula Nebula. Scientists say it got that nickname because it resembles a burrowing tarantula's homeland with its silk. The nebula sits 161,000 light years away from Earth, give or take.
Give or take a few light years?
Yeah, one way or the other.
Yeah, sounds good.
Temperatures looking pretty nice in the days ahead.
Yeah, we're going to start at about 60 in the morning, 88 during the afternoon, up to 90 by Friday. A few showers over the weekend.
Final sports note.
The Royals did it. Bases loaded, Salvador Perez, sacrifice fly, walk off to center field. Royals win it over the Guardians 2-1.
Nice.
Good for Salvi, good for the Royals. Thanks for joining us. Morning show starts at 5 a.m. Let's make it a great tomorrow.
Salon Service